Welcome to this micro-learning module entitled 6 Steps to Streamline a FAR 15.3 Source Selection. My name is Brian Morris, and I'm part of the SAF AQCP Field Support Team. Over the last 10-plus years, the Field Support Team has worked with many source selection teams across the Air Force and DoD, giving us insight into many innovative and successful source selection results. This training consolidates lessons learned and good practices discovered from these interactions and is focused on arming you with the tools and techniques to help you streamline and improve your next source selection. As an analogy, let's compare a source selection to the process of building a house. Like a source selection, a new build starts with capturing your requirements and incorporating the key features into the final blueprint. Before the actual construction begins, it is essential to assemble the best team to successfully execute the job. It's also vital to establish an optimal and complete schedule. Once construction begins, it's important to build a solid foundation or else the project will fail. It's also critical to follow proven processes and continue to implement streamlining practices as the build progresses. Finally, when the build's complete, you need to perform a final inspection to make sure everything is in order. Again, like a house, a successful and streamlined source selection follows similar principles. The common trait of successful teams is their investment in early market research and thoroughly planning all aspects of the source selection. Like a house, a source selection needs to identify all critical and non-critical requirements and ensure they are properly addressed. These early efforts affect and impact the entire source selection process, from the content of documentation, type of contract, source selection process used, to your success in defending a protest, and, obviously, are key to identifying and incorporating streamlining opportunities. Another critical step, albeit somewhat out of your control, is assembling an experienced, cohesive, and dedicated team that is fully trained and ready to go. It's important to identify and mitigate any team friction as early as possible because, as the slide says, team cohesion is a predictor of success. The third step involves establishing an optimized and realistic schedule. An upfront investment in communication with potential offerors can minimize both changes and interruptions to the source selection process. By coordinating the schedule with the entire team, you can identify areas that can be worked concurrently, solidify everyone's availability, and manage their expectations. Step 4 addresses the importance of building a strong foundation. The RFP is our final source selection blueprint and guides both the source selection team and potential offerors on the solicitation and evaluation process. Streamlining techniques involve ensuring that you've established the best source selection approach and then clearly conveying that information to potential offerors. The RFP is where we officially lay out specific streamlining methods. One example is using gating techniques to winnow down less competitive offers, which is a great initial evaluation streamlining process. Moving on, other techniques to consider are using oral proposals and/or presentations as much as possible, limiting the competitive range for purposes of efficiency, limiting the number of factors and subfactors, and focusing your evaluation to only the key discriminators. Here we discuss the benefits of designing your evaluation approach for technical and past performance to maximize use of an acceptable-unacceptable approach, reserving trade-offs to only the most critical factors. It's important to consider additional streamlined approaches to the past performance evaluation, even waiving past performance entirely if it's not crucial to your best value decision. Finally, always analyze your approach to the price evaluation to ensure you only evaluate the required areas. On Step 5, we address the source selection team's activities after RFP release. A pre-proposal conference can improve the proposal quality and even minimize discussions. Other streamlining aids are using a checklist or minimum qualification matrix at proposal receipt and capturing each offeror's proposal on a matrix to ensure all areas have been addressed and to expedite discussions. This is also the time to make sure everyone on the team is fully trained and to shore up any weak areas. Remember, you're not alone, so use other resources at your disposal to help your team. Finally, ensure that you have a solid plan in place to manage all source selection documentation and implement the 5C rule for all communications and documentation. Clear, concise, consistent, complete, and contemporaneous. This both helps to prevent a protest and to expedite the process should you find yourself in a protest situation. Step 6. You're almost there. Don't let up. Make sure to thoroughly and promptly debrief all applicable offerors, and again, pull in additional resources available to you to give you that extra set of eyes to avoid any last-minute mistakes. If you follow these suggestions with your well-honed team, using a disciplined process and hard work, you will succeed. Hopefully, this has whet your appetite and provided a pathway for a successful and streamlined source selection. Don't forget that SAF AQCP has many training materials at the Air Force Contracting Central Knowledge Center. Also, don't hesitate to ask any question on any contracting issue to myself or any other field support team member. Thank you.